Hi everyone, welcome to Tuesday night. We're making Italian meatballs tonight.
Italian meatballs. Can you believe
He says as he walks off screen.
how exciting that is?
It's a good recipe. I really like it. Slightly spicy, just a little bit. One pepperoni. Making meatballs over here, Chaz says. How's everyone this Tuesday night? It's been a fast week already. I can't believe it's Tuesday.
I'm great.
I'm glad you're great.
Thank you.
Are you excited for meatballs?
I'm so excited for meatballs! We haven't had meatballs in a long time.
I made them last at the last house. I made sliders.
It's too long.
Too long?
Too long.
Too long. We had a 4-month resub from Paint Chipper, 3 months from Dual Braids, 3 months from Ange Min, 3 months from Treecanthia, 100 bits from Ange Min, 4-month resub from Lunar Pearl, and 300 bits from Valix Butterfly, who says, hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. I'm dealing with both work stress and also family personal stress right now, and I'm looking forward to a chill stream to take my mind off things. Well, I'm really glad that we can be here for you tonight while we make meatballs, and I hope it helps.
I think it will.
We also had an early train during the countdown, so thank you for the train. Are you gonna help make meatballs?
I'm gonna do my best. I apologize for any outbursts. It's disc only night, so I have to preemptively rambunction myself.
What was that word?
Rambunction.
As in?
To create rambunctiousness.
Got it. 200 bits from Nat Common, thank you, Nat. So this recipe isn't terribly complicated. Before I ever made meatballs, I thought it would be difficult, and then I got disappointed with the frozen kind. So I found this recipe, and I think I've been changing things about it over the years, but it's really nice and there's a lot of flavor to it.
It is very good.
It is very good. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop this like small yellow onion really, really fine. I have found that if I leave the pieces too big, it does not make for a good meatball. So
They can get a little hard.
they're just like really chunky in the meatball. And
Yeah.
if you're making smaller meatballs, like for subs, or maybe you just want that instead of like a larger one like you'd put on spaghetti, then it stands out a lot more. So definitely chop it finer.
Do I need to show your process of a
Chopping
chop?
an onion? You could.
I'm gonna do that because there is a possibility that someone watching right now has not done that.
I'm not going to claim to have the best knife skills in the world, because I don't. But I do have a recently sharpened knife. We had a 2-month resub from One Weird Cat, 4 months from Pete Cal, and a subscription from VHow96. Welcome. So what I do first is I chop off the stem end, and that's the end that does not have the roots. This is a bad example. Those are the roots.
Yeah.
See the roots? So I chop off the other end, and then I slice it in half, which I did a terrible job of. And now I'm just peeling back all of the paper, the onion skin. Mike says, I asked my mom if she uses onion powder in her meatballs. I have done that when I do not have an onion on hand, and it turns out just fine. Jess said, that's okay. If you did have the best knife skills in the world, that would be a worrying amount of knife skill.
I'd also wonder how you got it.
Me too.
I'd be like, but how? Not that you're not impressive. You're a very impressive person. I'm just like, but how? Where did you learn the skills?
I thought about taking like a knife class.
Really?
Yeah, I thought about it. Circle Now Squared said, how are Elspeth's knife skills? Chaz, how are your cat's knife skills? There we go. So I peeled off all the paper, and then I just ripped this off. And then what I do is I have this, because I'm right-handed, on the left side, and then I'm going to chop like this way, like left and right, towards the roots. And then I'm gonna also chop on the opposite end up the side like this, a couple, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 up that way. Oh, that was too far down. And this is a small one, so it's more difficult. There, so now I've chopped it 2 ways, and now I'm going to go from the opposite end and just go down the line.
Look at that.
So I got nice tiny onions. And some of the bigger pieces like this, I'm just gonna move aside because it's just in my way.
A reasonable reason to move them out of the way.
There we go. So we have nice, finely chopped onion.
Cool.
I found also, this is just a personal anecdote about it, that I don't cry with onions if I have my contacts in. If I wear glasses, then I cry.
Why do you think that is?
I figure that it's some sort of like barrier for the actual liquid hitting my eyeball.
Interesting.
And sometimes it real bad. Haley says, yep, I didn't when I wore contacts. All right, now I'm gonna do this other piece.
I like how this angle is just enough to look as if you are currently working inside of a Tim Hortons.
I really like the style of this apron. Someone sent it in the mail. It's a crossback.
There's some good onions chopping.
It's easy when you have a nice sharp knife.
All hail Sharp Day.
Sharp day.
Good reminder to
Get your onions, I mean,
What?
get your knives sharpened.
Get your onions
It's worth
sharpened.
it.
Confuse your family. Sharpen your onions.
The other thing I'm probably gonna do is I'm just gonna run a knife through this again because this may still be too big. And I'm just gonna rock it back and forth through the pile of onions a little bit to break them up a little more.
Oh my.
I have to say, I do enjoy prepping vegetables now that I've had the knives sharpened.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a lot more enjoyable.
you have to have the tool for the job.
Yeah.
And the tool has to be in good working order too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so one finely chopped onion. I'm trying to get all the little onion skins away. Haley says you can also cheat and use like a mandolin or a hand chop or whatever. Yeah, those help a lot. I have chosen a knife because I want to get better at my knife skills. All right, I no longer need this. There are little bits of onion all over my counter.
Who could have done this?
Who did this?
Where did this onion come from?
All right, so now we're gonna add everything else for our meatballs. We have a pound of ground beef. And I went with lean because the original recipe called for lean.
Yep.
But I don't think, I've used other ground beefs before, like different percentages. So it doesn't really make that much of a difference in my opinion. And I probably should have done that last because now I have to wash my hands. And I'll have to wash them again.
Sometimes you just have to wash your hands.
Yeah.
It's fine. We also had 3 months from Ken One Noob. Thank you.
Alex said my grandpa uses beef and pork. Yeah, you can split it up if you want. Pork is a good choice too if you do like, I don't know, 60-40.
Yeah.
Sometimes the grocery stores will have those like already together for you, and you don't have to buy like a ton of either or. They did not today.
Folks are reminding that onion's not good for pets. It's true.
All right, rest of the seasonings.
Yes.
We're gonna go with a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm actually gonna go a little bit more because the original recipe calls for garlic salt and I don't have garlic salt. So I'm just gonna use a little more salt.
Okay.
So that was a half a teaspoon, and I'm just gonna do like, I don't know, just a little bit more, a pinch.
A measured pinch.
What's next? Garlic. So I'm using garlic powder, and it's a half a teaspoon. And because you measure garlic with your heart, I'm doing a rounded teaspoon instead of a flat teaspoon.
Amen.
What's next? I should really look before I step over here to grab all of my stuff. Italian seasoning. It is 1.5 teaspoons. Half. 1. 1.5. Next is oregano, and oregano is 3/4 of a teaspoon. 3/4. And then a dash of liquid smoke. That seems good.
Little dash.
Little dash. Red pepper flakes. This is the spicy part.
So this is at your discretion.
Yeah, this is at your discretion. I'm using 3/4 of a teaspoon.
Is that something that you've played with specifically over the years?
Yes, I originally used 1/4 of a teaspoon, but now I use 3/4.
Ooh.
There's also sriracha in this.
300.
Mike says liquid what? Liquid smoke. Liquid smoke is made by putting wood over a thing, and it kind of does like a condensation effect, and that's what they bottle. I watched a video on it on Good Eats like a million years ago, and it was fascinating. All right, sriracha. Sriracha is a dash also. So that's also something you can change if you don't want it to be too spicy. You could cut it out entirely or use less or more. Worcestershire. Where is that? Right here. So this is 1.5 tablespoons.
We love a good Worcestershire. I think honestly, a forgotten condiment. You can put that on anything.
In America, yeah.
You can put that on anything. It's very good.
And I'm done with my teaspoons, and I got this all over my fingertips. Mike says we do basic meatballs, which I mean, when you eat it every week, you kind of do. Yeah, I can imagine that going all out for everything every week is a lot. Let's see. Milk, cheese, and breadcrumbs are my last ingredients. Ooh. All right, so we have a 1/3 cup skim milk. Is this skim? Yeah, it's skim. It wouldn't matter, honestly.
Yeah, we only have one milk, so that's gonna be the one. Fun fact, when I go shopping at the Costco, I buy whichever milk is the cheapest.
Whatever's the cheapest that week.
It does change a little bit sometimes. I do not care.
And because this is what I found at Publix today, this is 6 cheese blend Italian cheese. And You can use Parm or Romano or whatever, but this is what they had on sale.
You can pick your own cheese venture. Whatever speaks to an individual's heart.
My last ingredient is a 1/2 cup of seasoned breadcrumbs. That does not fit in there. There, that's our meatballs.
Yeah, they don't look like meatballs yet.
Oh, but they will.
But they will. Currently, it's just a bowl of things.
Isn't that what they are, though? I also have to preheat the oven to 400, so I apologize for Whistly in advance.
Hey, Whistly.
And I also need this.
Missed you, Whistly.
We have 300 bits from Will Peters, Speed Run Milk. No. And we also had a 3-month resub from the Register 0319, thank you. So now that we have this all here, I'm going to mix it up until it's like cohesive-ish. I mean, it's not gonna be like I'm blending it together, so I'm just gonna mix it up. It's a lot of onion. That's fine. Yeah, that was way too much onion. It's hard to judge. They don't always, you know, come a standard size.
Should you have used a smaller onion or just...
I probably should have used half.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So that, okay.
It's fine.
I mean, the onion is subjective.
Yeah. That's fine. A lot of the bigger pieces, when I make the meatballs, tend to, in my opinion, just like fall out into the bowl.
Now it's starting to look more like
Yeah.
a meatball. It's happening. We're getting there.
Jill says, I love the feeling of raw meat like this, and you know it's weird. See, some things I'm okay with, and sometimes I'm not, and it tends to be if there's bones involved, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Like whole chicken, don't like that. Please make it look less like chicken. But like a steak, I'm fine with. I don't know. All right, so I have my nice meatloaf, or one single giant meatball. And I'm gonna cut it in half, just kind of guessing, and then in half again, and then I'm gonna start using this to roll meatballs. So I'm just gonna take a little tiny chunk, like so, and then I'm just gonna roll it. And I always find this part hard to judge, like how big do I want these to be, but it's good that they're like the same, they all have to be the same size, because then they have to cook together.
Yeah.
So this seems pretty good to me. So I'm just gonna start throwing them on my sheet pan.
Meatballs was something that we had been doing a lot of
Your hands are
at some point.
untainted by raw meat.
It's true, yes.
Could you do me a favor?
I could.
Could you pick up my sheet pans and take the second one and like remove it from the equation? Because I don't know if I'm gonna need it. Normally I double this recipe.
Your hands are untouched by sin.
Yeah.
Could you remove this?
Mr. Deathkill says you can always bust out the scale. Yeah, I could.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to make a thing perfect, right?
Yeah.
But also, there is a lot of value in being able to quickly do things and eye it and be like, good enough. Because, you know, this might just be something you want to make for your family on a weekday night, and you're like, eh.
Haley says, I'm surprised by no egg. I always thought that was required. So this recipe that I've been using doesn't have egg. And actually, I went to the store because I didn't have all the stuff on hand today. And I got there and I had to text Steven and I was like, hey, I left my meatball recipe on the counter. Will you double check there's no eggs in the recipe?
Yeah, I was like, I'll look, but I don't think so.
See, the Swedish meatball recipe I have has egg in it.
Yeah.
That one's probably too big. That's fine, I'll fix it. We had a subscription from Forwolf, welcome.
Glad you're here.
That one's also too big. I'm making them too big. I gotta go smaller.
Smaller, 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 smaller. Let's see, that's your half. I was trying to determine if you'll need the second sheet or not.
We'll see. Chrisellium says, how much of a difference does it make? Like, can you taste the egg? No, it's mostly, I think, to bind it together. Yeah, this one's just a tiny bit too big.
You'll have to put them a little closer together.
Oh, I know.
Just giving you.
I'm just throwing them on there right now as I make them.
Okay, just giving you an FYI. But I do believe they will all fit on one. There's been times in the past we've made a lot of meatballs. We used to make them, Mal, do you remember during the pandemic, we would buy like...
Oh yeah, we would buy like 8 pounds of ground beef from Costco, and some of it we would freeze like just as a single pound.
But we would often make...
Yeah, often I would like triple this recipe and then freeze the meatballs.
Yeah. Yeah, and that sort of thing is really nice. I always love the idea of just doing just a little extra prep work to just take care of multiple meals.
Mm-hmm. We had a subscription from Team Riptide, 3 months.
Thank you.
Haley said I made a ton of meatballs in college. Maybe at some point I'll do the Swedish ones. They have nutmeg in them. The other thing I could probably do, and I don't have these, is use like the measured ice cream scoops.
Yeah. Yep.
To like portion them.
Yep, that's also an option.
But I don't have those.
It's fine. You're doing fine.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's things you could do.
Every time you give it a conscious thought, go smaller. That's you're gonna do a lot of it subconsciously.
Yeah. Well, normally I make them a little bit bigger. I was trying to make them smaller today.
We've also done Swedish meatballs before.
I was just talking about those.
Yeah.
Were you listening, or are you bringing it back up?
I wasn't listening at all. Sorry.
Alex says you can't have Swedish meatballs without lingonberry.
That's not a conversation I'm willing to have with Alex or anyone.
See, I think lingonberry is fine. I just don't want it with that. I don't want it with like savory.
I'm not going to revisit the IKEA in my mind.
You have an IKEA in your mind?
I do. The shelves are always empty.
No cinnamon rolls anywhere?
The cinnamon rolls are everywhere, but they gaslight you at the counter and tell you that they don't have any. They're piled up floor to ceiling.
IKEA Mind Palace. Alex said, I can't believe IKEA stopped stocking crab paste.
I mean, I sort of can.
That was like his favorite thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know that that was a popular thing. If they stocked it, if they stopped stocking it, I suspect that maybe it was not very popular.
Haley says, I'm filled with rage against Stephen and Mal's feelings on lingonberries. I will hold them inside.
I also don't dislike lingonberry. I think that's the reason that I...
Already?
Good job, Whistly. Whistled extra hard today for us. Yeah, I don't have any ill will towards lingonberry. I really don't.
Alex says it was really good on a Triscuit. Yeah, I bet crab paste was good on a Triscuit.
I have been slandered. My perspective on lingonberry has been tainted because I didn't put it on my plate once at the IKEA. It's fine.
Jez is clapping for Whistly. Renee says, is it close to like raspberry? What kind of berry? I'd say it's closer to cranberry out of everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's good.
It's fine. So more tart. Yeah, I think it's tart.
I do not think that it is anything special.
Yeah. Therefore, unnecessary. We're getting there.
Are you gonna need the other tray?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Huckleberry aren't... Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of something else. What's the other berry that grows on a tree that looks like blackberries but isn't? My dad has a tree of it. Mulberries, thank you.
Mulberries.
Mulberries are tasty.
We've had 2 pears sitting on our counter for
It's
100
taken
years.
forever to ripe.
I'm sure they'll be delicious someday. We just need a few more years.
Years? Ugh. All right, I have this much left that's not right, so I need to take a little bit from the larger ones. What else? This one's a little bigger. This one. Just make one big one. That's for the chef. It's a little smaller. So see, this is what happens to me, is any of the larger onion bits and like a lot of the extra onion, like this much, this just ends up in the bowl. That's fine. And now I'm just gonna like lay these out. What did it? Oh. That's how they're supposed to go.
Little Midwest accent came out there.
Oh.
Oh, that's how they're supposed to go.
They don't like puff up like, I don't know, a muffin or something. So like I don't have that problem. I just need to make sure that they have enough room that I can flip them easy enough. They're a little tight down here, but that's fine.
I think it looks
Beautiful.
good. Yeah. Good work.
Gotta clean my hands.
Probably a good plan.
Yeah.
So what's the next step?
Well, they're gonna go in the oven, and while they bake, we're gonna chill for just a little bit, and then we're gonna make a sauce.
I love sauce. Very excited for sauce.
One of the things I had to learn about having longer fingernails, because this is like new to me in the last couple of years, is you have to like really get underneath your nails when you're washing your hands.
Goodbye, meatballs. Goodbye.
They'll become delicious.
Yummy.
Set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Counting.
Thank you.
Counter.
So in 10 minutes, we're gonna flip them and then they'll cook another 10 minutes. So shortly, we'll start the sauce.
Okay.
We had a 3-month resub from Shy. Thank you, Shy Diz.
Let me.
What kind of sauce? We can talk about that.
Let's talk about sauce.
So our sauce is going to be San Marzano's, which is important to use San Marzano's if you're using a canned tomato. A good olive oil, salt, and garlic. That's our sauce.
It's simple.
And then we're going to heat it up, and then I'm going to throw it in the immersion blender in it to make it not chunky. And then that's all we're doing.
It is pretty simple, but we have learned that simple is the best. Yeah.
Mike says that is sauce. None of that ragu stuff. Yeah. Agreed. I thought about taking some of my tomatoes. Let me go get some of them. And using those, but I don't really have enough. Which is weird because my entire windowsill is filled with this lovely tomato. This is one tomato.
That is a lovely tomato.
It is a very lovely tomato.
I'm just gonna give a little.
It's supposed to be green. This is a Cherokee purple. It's supposed to have green shoulders. And the inside is like super ruby red. They're really good. And then I have a ton of cherries. Just an absolute ton of cherry tomatoes.
And there's like 10 times that out on the vine.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of tomatoes. Not that one.
Not that one.
Not that one. I picked up the one. Oh my
Is shoulder the proper term? I think so, actually.
That one had a scar. Like,
That's from all the rain we've been getting.
it's like I picked up the one scarred tomato.
Did Dan try one? I don't think Dan's tried one. These little ones, these Candyland tomatoes, really have like a nice crunch. Like they pop.
Yeah, Dan doesn't like tomatoes,
I think he'd like the Candyland ones.
but you know, maybe he'll come around. You know, it's possible.
There are 4 types of cherry tomatoes in here.
They're very good.
All the little ones are Candyland. They're super tiny. And then the larger ones, it's hard to tell. Some of them are Sweet 100s and some are, they have early in the title, I forget. And then the big yellow ones are Sun Golds.
There are many tomatoes happening. They
still
are
missing,
very good.
I have 6 tomato plants. There's one I have not gotten any fruit from yet.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's
There's
also the
3
plant.
on it. It just hasn't ripened.
It's also the plant that's been very weird.
It's been so weird.
Like,
the
it's
leaves
not-
look like potatoes.
Yeah, and it's growing potatoes, and that's the strangest thing.
I mean, they're in the same family. They're all in the nightshade family.
It's
So tomatoes grow in like clusters off the plant. This plant, the one I haven't gotten anything off of, grew a cluster of tomatoes, and then it grew a leaf off the cluster, which is super wild. I don't know. It's weird.
It's just the plant really just has not kept up with its tomato brethren, because all the tomato plants were like, boom.
Yeah, this one's also the smallest
This
one.
plant was like,
It looks the weirdest.
so.
I don't know. It's gosh, what is it? Brandywine pink? That's what it is.
Vinny asked if we can taste a difference in the tomatoes, and you can.
You definitely can. The larger red cherries, the Sweet 100s and the early ones, those I don't taste a difference, but I can definitely taste a difference between like those and the Candyland tiny ones and the Sun Golds.
Yeah. I mean, in general, like they all taste like tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like there's an overarching tomato feeling to them, but yeah, they all taste different. We actually very recently made a bunch of BLTs with Alex and Haley,
Yeah, Haley and I had gone to the farmer's market and bought a ton of heirloom varieties just to sample them all.
And that's a vlog that's coming out soon. And we actually tried all the different tomatoes, not the ones that are in the garden, but like the ones from the farmer's market. And it is astounding how different they are. They look completely different, sure, but they also have just very different flavor profiles. And it's very cool. Like, someone can be like, oh, I like tomatoes, but you could also dive deeper into that. You could try different tomatoes and like really pinpoint a very specific...
Some have low acid, some are sweeter, some are saucy, like a Roma tomato is saucier and less watery. Like San Marzanos are, I think, a type of Roma. You can grow San Marzanos. They're not grown in the region, so you can't call
someone's
them
growing
San
them, yes.
Marzanos.
The statement, you can grow San Marzanos, is
like I could have bought a San Marzano tomato plant. But it's
true.
like champagne. Like you can't call it champagne if it's not grown in Champagne, France.
Yeah, they come and they shoot you with a gun. They do. 300 from Shai says, I mean, what is a potato if not a tough, hardy tomato? Nothing, I say. They have similarities. There's some similarities.
When the timer's up, I'll flip the meatballs and then we'll start on the sauce.
Okay. I like potatoes also.
But if you really want a good like canned tomato and you really need that special tomato flavor because it's way different, like a fresh tomato off the vine from a garden versus a supermarket tomato, go with a San Marzano. If that's important to your recipe.
Yeah. They're very good.
Mm-hmm. Sento's brand doesn't have DOP certification? What?
Yeah.
I bought this at Costco.
I actually knew that.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even look. I just picked it up at Costco and was like, okay, here we go.
Well, we typically buy Sentos because the Sentos are at Costco and they're cheaper.
Yeah.
I will tell you, they are still good. Yeah, and Vagabond says they're still super good. Yeah. Cento.
Cento.
Cento. San Marzano, cento.
Neither of us took Italian.
Anyway, yeah, we'll, you can actually, so if you go to the supermarket and you look at the San Marzanos that got the certification, like some of them are like numbered and stuff. Like it's a whole thing. Or if you have a Costco membership, these are good.
Yeah.
These are good. We stand saving money in this house.
We do. We do. Where's my can opener? I'll need it. We had a 3-month resub from Action Cat 7. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Alex says, when are we taking that group trip to Italy?
I mean, that would be fun.
I would be interested to know what everyone's like pick would be. Like, I know Lindsay wants to go to Spain because she lived there for a while. Mm-hmm. I'm curious what like everyone's like first pick would be of where we go.
I don't think Italy's my first pick, but I would go to Italy.
I would go to Italy too.
Yeah.
It's not my first pick.
What if everyone took a tiered, a ranked thing, and then you do one of the ranked things where like we might end up going to Italy because it's high enough on everyone's list, and be like, okay, so that makes sense.
Ranked choice voting for group friend vacation. Alex says Slovakia.
Slovakia, okay.
Throw darts at a map. That's how we end up at like, gosh, what's the name of the island in the Atlantic that's in the middle of nowhere? I forgot the name of it.
Oh, the one that's past Hawaii?
No, Atlantic.
Oh, Atlantic.
Not Iceland. St. Helena. Thank you, Fossix. I end up at like St. Helena Island or somewhere wild. Alex said that's how we ended up in Raleigh. Darts at a map. No.
I don't know that that's true, to be honest.
I made a lovely document with pros and cons to like the 6 places we looked at. Are you only thinking Europe? No. We're just talking about it because we're talking about Italy.
I mean, in a vague sense, I would do like most anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to go to Svalbard. I think that would be cool.
Svalbard?
Yeah. I listened to a podcast on it.
But cold.
I know, you go in the summer. There's my timer. So I'm gonna pull these out and do this out here.
Sure. We had 3 months from Mean Dean 12. Mean Dean, thanks. So you're gonna show the flippening?
I just grab a tongs and I simply flip. And I didn't grease this cookie sheet, but it's also a nonstick. So I'm just glad nothing is sticking. Which has been a problem on my old cookie sheets that were not nonstick.
It's going well.
Also, these don't have any browning on them. Why? It is the first time I've done it in Whistly oven.
Yeah, Whistly oven is also a piece of garbage.
It is a piece of garbage.
One day,
we will own a house.
We'll maybe own a home, and if we do, we can buy like an oven that makes the food cook and doesn't whistle. They have those actually. Those ovens exist. I've seen them. I know that they're around. So I'm really looking forward to maybe having one. That would be great. In the meantime,
this goes back in.
Those are going to go back in. It's fine.
Reset my timer for, bless you, for another 10 minutes. And we'll start doing sauce.
I turned off my mic to sneeze.
300 bits from Action Cat, who says, okay, I was literally looking up Grim the dog from Svalbard when you said that's a place you want to go. It seems like such a cool place though. Doesn't it? There's so many neat things. Like you can go to Pyramiden and see like Cold War Russia. And they have like a movie theater with a bunch of Cold War Russian films. Noah says, I want to see the seed vault. Yeah, there's that.
The seed vault is very cool.
I've noticed that my can opener has gone from like the best can opener I've ever used to something wrong with it. So
every can opener.
Yeah, why do all can openers suck? So I find that if I put pressure on it and turn it, it works.
We had, for the longest time, we had been buying like the cheapest can opener
Look how lovely red that is.
we could possibly buy.
Look at that.
So we would buy the cheapest can opener we could, and then it would break, and then we buy another one. And we repeated this process a while, and then eventually I bought this. This is OXO?
That has been the best one we've
And it's been the best one we've ever owned.
I don't know what happened to it. Like all of a sudden it just stopped working good.
Yeah. I mean, at least it went a lot longer than having to replace another one, so maybe it's still worthwhile.
It still works. You just have to know the trick.
You gotta know the trick. Wonderful. Look at that sauce.
I mean, that's part of it.
Some of it's sauce. Some of it's tomatoes.
All right. We're going to throw a glug of olive oil, which is, that seems good.
Very scientific.
Let's see, garlic. That's ginger. That's garlic.
Ooh.
That seemed good.
That's a bit. That's, wow. All right.
What?
It's fine. It's just it's a lot.
A little bit of salt, and then we will taste it. It might need sugar. It might need more salt. It's hard to say. But that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the stove and just kind of heat it till it's heated like throughout and bubbling a bit, and then I'm going to blend it. I'm just going to do this kind of over like medium. That's it.
That's it.
That's the sauce. No basil. There's some basil in the can. God, what does it say? With basil leaf.
Yeah, the Cento have basil in them.
And there's enough flavor between the meatballs and the tomatoes that I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, it's good.
We had 100 bits from Will Peters, thank you. And 300 bits who says, listen, Whistly's part of your brand. They are the most recognizable character in the show.
Whistly.
Can you put googly eyes on Whistly?
We really should.
Would they go up here? Where the brain is?
Where the brain is?
Yeah, it's where all the computer parts are.
Oh, sorry. The phrase, as you point to our microwave, where the brain
This
is,
is where the brain is.
is just a very concerning set of words. It's fine.
Someone said put a magnet. I was looking for a magnet that might work, but I don't see one. Noah says, describe the anatomy of your oven.
I've never gotten quite that personal with the oven.
Oh, we have a little bit of bubbling.
Oh, we like bubble. Things are starting to get hot.
It's, I mean, warm. Oh, don't do that.
Oh my God.
Stay there. Perfect. I just cleaned this. I mean, I didn't deep clean the big grates, but I mostly cleaned it.
We so anxiously await the
We
sauce.
so anxiously await the sauce.
We love the sauce.
Spoon rest? I could pull a spoon rest out. Could. But I didn't. It's fine.
It's kind of not.
It's all right.
We have so many spoon rests.
We do.
Like, we own several. They're all clean.
I think we have like 3.
They're up there. You just go up, you open that door, and bada bing, bada boom, spoon rest.
Yeah. Nah.
Anyway.
So I just go over here and stir this every so often.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to burn to the bottom. I don't have it turned up all the way though, so I don't know if that would even happen, but it also gives me an idea of like how warm it's getting.
Yeah.
Are we just having the meatballs and sauce by itself? I had planned to make zucchini as a side, but I didn't get there, so it's fine. We're gonna have this, and then we'll end stream, and then maybe we'll make zucchini.
Well, we also have, we got some really good bread.
Sourdough.
So we got some sourdough back
Behind
there.
the flatbread.
You could take,
Oh, I could probably start cutting that.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then it's a meatball sandwich.
Oh, did you want to do that? I just wanted to dip it in the sauce.
Oh. Whatever. I don't care. I'm just
Is
saying.
my bread knife clean?
It'd give us an opportunity to use up some of that bread.
Yeah.
Also,
What?
again, we're not sponsored. Costco has started to sell sourdough bowls. This is like apparently a relatively new product.
I believe so.
At least that's what Mal was telling me. But I got one the other day and I was like, ooh.
I've been happy with it
Yeah, it's good.
for a sourdough.
Yeah.
Imagine if Costco did sponsor you. I'd be thrilled. 500 bits from Mathia Graphene. Hi, Stephen and Mal. Hope you enjoyed the package I sent. Also, hope you get to try one of the recipes from the Final Fantasy 14 cookbook I sent you someday. Yeah, that would be fun to try sometime.
So many recipes and so little time.
Such a big bowl, though.
It is.
Do you want sandwiches? Because I'm just going to cut like a chunk to dip in the sauce.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have to eat it on a sandwich.
My good bread knife is in the dishwasher dirty.
I believe in you.
That's way too big.
for who.
I'm also gonna have to probably pause the bread cutting and deal with the sauce.
Sure.
So I'll off
I am ready.
All right, so immersion blender.
Yep. Good luck on not splashing.
You just gotta do it in little bursts.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to break everything up because there's like whole tomatoes. There we go. Lovely. The other if you're gonna get an immersion blender, I recommend one that's dishwasher friendly. This one's not. It's kind of a pain. So, lovely sauce.
Very excited about sauce.
And we'll put that back on the burner. I'm gonna turn it down a little lower because it's already pretty warm, and just kind of let it sit here and simmer a little bit while the meatballs are finishing up.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna cut another slice of this bread with the not bread knife. It does fine once it gets through the crust, but it does not want to cut through that crust. Oh, there's the timer for the meatballs. Perfect.
That's exciting. That insinuates that we may consume food, and it could be soon.
Everything should be dishwasher safe. I hate hand washing, Breathe Wildly says. I agree. And there's some things I'm willing to hand wash, like my pots and pans, the cast iron, but not everything. Could you put this and these over there, and then unplug this and put this over there too, please?
I can do all for you.
Thank you.
It's me, Mr. Saturn.
I'm just moving some stuff out of the way. Oh, and this. I don't need this anymore. Do you not have any other serrated knives? So I only have one serrated knife, and I just used it to cut bread the other day, so it's in the dishwasher.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I have serrated steak knives, but they're so small, and with that big bowl, that was not happening.
Yeah. And it's generally not an issue, the amount of times that we need it.
We normally don't buy unsliced bowls. But now that sourdough is available at Costco, we might.
We also run the dishes pretty frequently, especially because our dishwasher got smaller. Love that.
Yeah.
Good.
Love that.
Love that. That's good.
Oh yeah, this was done. I need to check these.
It probably might be wise to take a peek at them. How are they looking?
Where's the tongs?
He says, why did it get smaller? It's because the last place we lived had a larger than normal dishwasher. It also was a triple rack dishwasher.
Oh, our last dishwasher was so nice.
Like, the owner of the last place, before they gave it to the rental company and like moved, and then we moved there, like they replaced all of the appliances with like really nice appliances.
Okay, the only thing that sucked was the microwave oven. Like the microwave and oven. It was a stacked unit like this, and they were connected like this is, but it was convection, and it was not appropriately rated for the wiring in the house, which is why we had the power breaker
you couldn't
flip.
use. Yeah, that was stupid. The appliances themselves were nice.
Yes.
It's just you couldn't use
It
the
was not
microwave and the oven at
probably
the same time, which was
chosen well for the house.
pain in the
It
butt.
probably needed an electrician to
Anyway,
tell them.
yeah, I did not know that a triple rack existed, so Oh, he says, I thought the landlord replaced her dishwasher to a smaller version. Okay, however, there was a place that we lived where an appliance got...
It was the dishwasher.
No, it was the oven.
Oh, the oven too. That was a different place. Dishwasher was the apartment, remember?
Oh, yeah. We got a downgrade in a dishwasher there. And then in the next place we lived, in the Blue Wall house, they replaced the oven and they made it the worst oven in the world.
It was so bad.
It didn't have a light, it didn't have a window, and it also was bad.
It was real bad.
I was like, cool, because like...
It was like they went to the store and they were like, all right, cheapest one, got it.
Why do landlords hate it? The thing that was so frustrating is that it was that woman's house.
Yeah, it was her house. And
like
she moved in after us.
And then she ended up moving back in. If she would have spent just a little bit more money, she would have had a nice oven when she moved back into her home. Instead, she bought the cheapest thing possible, and then she has to deal with it. So, like, a little bit of comeuppance, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know they made ovens without, like, windows,
Landlord
man.
special.
That feels like real old school. She didn't deserve a nice oven. She didn't. Oh yeah, she gave us drippy fridge.
Oh yeah, drippy fridge. That sauce needs a little bit of sugar.
Yeah. Soccer Celica says, I met people who never use the oven. I know a lot of people who don't use the oven.
I'm literally just putting a sprinkle of sugar in this, by the way.
And like, that's fine. But it causes a lot of like concern in my body. Because I actually know way more people than I am comfortable with who just do not use the oven at all. Like a lot. It's fine. It's fine. How's the sauce looking?
It was a little too acidic, so I added just a little bit of sugar.
Okay. That, unfortunately, I think is a little difficult to teach.
Yeah, I tasted it and I was like, it's zesty. It needs a little less zesty. So I added a little sugar. Did this help?
Yeah. Also, the people I know that don't use the oven don't use anything in their kitchen, so I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine. Just as like an extra room in the house that you just like look at sometimes. It's fine. I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm good. This doesn't cause me distress.
Renee says, my mom uses her oven, but I learned that she also uses it as Tupperware storage when she's not cooking in it. Ask me how I know. So at the end of a season at my dad's house, he put all of the grill tools in their propane grill, closed it, covered it, brought it in the garage for the winter. In the spring, they were going to use it. And so Rhonda went out to turn it on and preheat it, but didn't check inside. All the grill tools were inside.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's a bad.
That is a bad. 300 bits from Will Peters, who said, Monday we got new kitchen appliances. What appliance did we get? Yes is the answer.
All of them.
That's exciting.
The whole set.
The whole set.
It is really exciting to get a new kitchen appliance. Mm-hmm. It is also a sign of adulthood. Just get really excited about a kitchen appliance. Like if you get, or anything, like if sometimes you get like a new pan or something.
Yeah, new
and
pans.
I'm like, oh my God, a new pan. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know what better way to measure adulthood than the excitement level of things that children generally find mundane.
All right. Excuse me. I think these are done.
We hope so. Whistly's been whistling extra hard for them.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna turn the broiler on. I want to have a little bit more brown on them. Broil. And this time I'm gonna watch it, unlike the other week where we didn't watch it.
It does seem beneficial.
Humbology says, I bought a new knife set for Prime Day and I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, Prime Day is today.
Action Cat says, is that how they get cooked? Whistling? Yeah, if you whistle at them, they cook.
I mean, theoretically, if you were to whistle like very hard,
Very hot air.
very hot air at food,
It might cook.
Yeah. If you had an industrial whistler, which we do,
We do have an industrial whistler.
then you could probably get away with that. Whistle while you cook. So be a dragon. That's just a it is, yeah, it's a blowtorch. That is technically a blowtorch. I am very hungry.
I know.
The only thing that I ate today was,
You want to pull out the cheese again and put some cheese on top?
sure. I had a bowl of cereal and I had 2 pieces of toast.
I had a zucchini muffin. Oh, we had a little bit of Kringle this morning.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
Was that all I ate today? I think so.
Not that that's a...
Renee says we had BLTs tonight. I did think about doing that because I have that big tomato.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna...
Are you going to do that
Yeah.
later this week?
There's so many tomatoes and
There's so many
they have to be
tomatoes.
used. You gotta do something with them.
Uh-huh.
So I probably will be making
BLTs
some.
are great.
Yeah, it's fine.
Caprese salad? That would be good too. You could do that. You do like that. Get some basil and mozzarella.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've made a margarita pizza.
Oh, you could do that, yeah.
It's, if I want to do it right, it's a whole thing, right?
It is a whole thing.
Where's the peel?
The peel is by the Keurig.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done that. I've never done that on my own. We always do that together. So I don't know if I'll be brave enough to try that.
You could do it without the steel and without the peel. You could just
Oh,
put
but
it
I
on the
wouldn't.
pizza pan.
But I wouldn't.
Okay.
I can make a pizza on my own, but like as far as going through the whole rigmarole of things, I haven't tried that on my own. But I am familiar with the process. So like I'm sure I could do it.
Hey, at least I got you covered on basil.
Yeah. We could do a little
We
pizza
got the
party.
tomatoes.
The biggest thing with making the pizza, honestly, that we learned is that you have to put, was it cornmeal?
Cornmeal on the peel.
You have to put cornmeal on the peel. Like it will stick. Cornmeal is just, that's the magic thing. That's the thing. If you do that, you're good. Every other part of the pizza making process is like innately understood. Like you know exactly what to do. It's like, I know how to make a pizza. But if you don't put cornmeal, it will
Semolina
stick.
flour works too.
Yeah.
But that's another thing to have to
Just make a grandma pizza with grandma sauce. We still have yet to actually try grandma pizza.
That's better.
We gotta do that. Look at them meatballs.
All right, you want a bowl or a plate?
A bowl for me, please. You also want a bowl.
I did. Here.
Mal and I are not usually aligned on the bowl plate argument.
Choices?
Yeah. Mal almost always goes plate and I almost always go bowl.
How many you want? I mean, I suppose you can get them yourself.
I can.
I will be doing zucchini after stream.
Oh yeah, so you have a green?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh.
You have to, here, you want to see the trick? Yeah, you do that and then you lift it. But just watch the pan because it's...
Because it'll fall onto the floor?
Uh-huh.
Oh, didn't, oh.
Oh, you missed some.
I'm not gonna miss out on any of this delicious seasoned meat. I did that? Shoot. I threw it onto the floor. In fairness to me, I've had to do a wiggle. Maybe we should have sprayed this down.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
It might have assisted a little bit.
Maybe. Who can say?
It's hard, well, for next time. Thank you. Get that off the floor before Kepler thinks that that's for him. It's not.
I mean, to be fair, Kepler doesn't really think people food is ever for him.
It's true. It's been very convenient. because he does not even attempt. That's...
You want me to move this?
Sure. This is a reasonable amount of balls to put in one's mouth. Was that 9? 9. 10's too many.
How is the boy? The boy's good. I don't know if he's downstairs or upstairs. He's probably upstairs because he does not like it when we cook.
Yeah, if that's not a sign that he doesn't like people food, I don't know what it is. He doesn't like the sounds and he doesn't like the smells.
All right. So I poured some sauce on this and then I just put cheese on it. So it's great. Even if you make fish, he doesn't care about any of it.
Nope. He only wants cat food. Kepler is 11
Very hot though.
or something.
Oh my God.
And he has never once in his entire life went after people food, as far as I can recall. Sagan did.
Yeah, Sagan definitely go after
But
people
Kepler never once. It's kind of wild. So, I want to show this food. How do I show this so in the best possible way? Let me just do this. Look at that. Look at this.
Look at this. Look.
Look at that.
Look at it.
Look at this. Look at that. And also, look at this.
Is the oven still on? No, it's off. It's just cooling
It
down.
just makes that noise forever. Because we have to pay for our iniquities somehow. And that's how it happens.
Alex says, why do they call it an oven when you in, whistle, hot, cold noise the food?
I guess I could fork.
Were you going to just scoop up the meatballs with your hands?
It'd be hot. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'd like that. How are they?
Good.
Are they good?
They're very hot.
They are hot, but they are good. Watch this. It's like a little mini slider. Isn't that nice?
Does it live up to what you wanted at the start of stream?
Yes.
I'm really glad.
This is great. I agree that, like, had we had more time.
We could have done like zucchini on the side. Yeah.
Having a green is important. Like conceptually, you should eat vegetables. Doctors love it when you eat a vegetable. The American Health Association. Where is the American Health Association?
Heart.
What did I say? Heart. Where's the American Heart situation? Where are they? Are they here? Why aren't they here? I asked them nicely.
This morning during breakfast stream.
We had a very wild breakfast stream where at the end of the stream, the American Heart Association just showed up. They were like, hey. And I was like, and it was particularly funny because we had talked about like cholesterol and stuff like that this morning. So it was very unusual. But yeah, that was, it gave everyone like a brief moment of like, is this actually the American Heart Association? And it was. I'm so glad that the American Heart Association is on Twitch, and also stopped by breakfast stream. A wild morning.
That was a wild morning.
Yeah, Renee says, it's like they knew we were talking about hearts and blood. It was a really well taught, because there's definitely breakfast streams where we don't do that.
We don't talk about hearts and blood?
Most breakfast streams are just about cereal mascots from 30 years ago. So like, it's kind of unusual that they stopped in at this one specifically. Yeah, it was an educational morning, it's true. That's absolutely true.
I'm very happy with dinner.
Good, you did a good job.
Thank you. And thank you for your help.
I'm gonna ask the mods to roll the ticker while I'm thinking about it. I can't do it. I need a button. I need to invent a button for it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, patrons of Mal.
Yes, these are my patrons.
Well,
Are beans updated?
the thing I have
I need
nothing to
check,
do with.
But I don't think they're not. I think they are up to date.
I don't think they're not. See, my beans this morning are updated. Got them updated. Thank you, patrons. We sincerely appreciate your support. And are we already? God, we are. We're a tenth of the way. Not a tenth. What's the word? A third. A third of the way through July. I can't believe that we're sailing through this month so quickly. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Tomato sauce.
After this stream, in about half an hour or an hour, because I don't actually know when the show is. Every time I think I know,
You're wrong.
I'm surprised and wrong. Disc Only is happening over on Proton John's Twitch channel. So
You will be there.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there. So I'll be there drinking a Fanta. And
Will you?
yeah, I'll probably scream. I'll probably start the stream by screaming for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then go from there. It's just what Tuesdays are, man. I don't know how to... Anyway, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Mal's gonna tell us who we're rating.
Well, I grabbed my phone and then I set it down.
Don't know why.
All right. I think we're gonna raid Tom.
Tom. Mr. Tom Fox.
Mr. Tom Fox. What's
And
our raid
what
message?
is our raid message for Mr. Tom Fox? How many balls? Sauce cause untainted by raw meat. Sauce cause. American Heart Situation. I like sauce cause.
I like sauce cause.
Let's do sauce cause.
All right, we're gonna raid Tom Fox with the raid message sauce cause. Sauce cause.
Sauce cause is fun. It's also very fun to say. I like that.
Oh, hi Tom.
Any last minute announcements before we send people off to the raid? I don't believe so. Otherwise, just Thursday breakfast stream.
And you're.
I'll be doing a solo stream on Thursday afternoon as well. And of course, Friday we'll be back in Zelda. No streams on either of our ends for tomorrow, but we will see you Thursday. Have yourself a wonderful Tuesday. Go check out Tom's stream.
He's playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Tom will be streaming until disc only, so another half hour or so. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful Tuesday.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Goodbye.
They're gone. Oh, he's playing Zelda. You can't like.
I'll just cover it, so I can.
You can just close it. The sauce cause. Okay. All right, folks, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
See you Tuesday. Thanks for being here.
Today's Tuesday.
I mean Thursday.
Or in like half an hour.
Or in like half an hour.
One of the two.
On Tuesday.
Whatever. Hey, whatever you're up to. Whatever you're up to. I'm gonna eat this food, and I'll see y'all Thursday morning for breakfast. Bye.